I to Infinity multimedia production.
Okay, I got my tea. You're recording, right?
Yeah, I'm recording.
Okay, perfect. So, as per usual, I'm going to start this bit, and we're going to just kind of make our way
Wait. This is the Looney Tunes episode. You said I could start the bit this time.
I don't think I said that.
Yeah,
I'm
like
pretty
last
sure.
episode.
Oh, well, I mean, if you don't mind, I just feel like for structural reasons, I should start.
I mean, I get that, but like, come on, this is like the episode that means the most to me. I should start this one.
I can hear you, but I would prefer to start.
Okay, I'm not using this language with you, Zach. I'm gonna start this one. Come on, let's start the recording.
No, I'm gonna start.
No, I'm starting.
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 I'm starting. You know what? You start.
Oh, I see what you're doing. You can't pull the wool over my eyes. You start the episode.
Oh, well, if that's how you want it.
Wait.
Two dudes grew up watching cartoons. Zany fun, always brighten the mood. They got or would stay the same. They love tunes, gonna entertain. So come and listen to these fine fellas with voices as smooth as jello. Watch them bring their love to you when two dudes become Toon Dudes. Well, hey everyone. Wow, we are back.
Back a Rooney.
Back a flippin' Rooney. And as always,
I'm the Toon.
and I'm the dude.
And that's right. We didn't come up with a new catchphrase in this allotted time.
Yeah. Really, it's a problem of lack of creativity.
But I like to call it confidence in our brand.
That's, you know what? I'll give you that. And you know what? That's what I'm gonna go with as well. Well, yes, my friends, we are back. I'm your host, as always, Zach.
And I'm the co-host, Cab.
And today we've got an exciting subject matter. We are going to be talking about a little franchise, a little crazy. One might even say loony set of characters.
Oh, I see what you're getting.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about
the Flintstones. So
yeah.
Back in the 1950s.
Yeah, no, Cab. I don't think we're coordinated. Today we're going to be talking about the day the Earth blew up and some of our favorite Looney Tunes shorts.
Oh, that's right. A new Looney Tunes movie did come out. I wonder why I didn't see any advertising.
Yeah, well, what was up with that?
I guess we have a lot to talk about this episode.
Yeah, so we'll dive right into it. I mean, I think a big reason for the lack of advertising actually had to do with the fact that Ketchup Entertainment,
right,
the distributor, is a very, very small independent distribution company. Mm-hmm. I mean, I believe I said recently they have 10 people working there total.
Wow, no way.
Which is pretty wild, man. Yeah, it's pretty insane. So yeah, I think that's a big factor for it. But honestly, I'm pretty impressed this movie got released at all. There was a period of time where I know a lot of the headlines were talking about this movie might not release.
Right, yeah. Especially under just, new leadership changes and, company politics and the like.
Yeah, for sure.
It was really looking like this movie was going to go, well, essentially the way of Wiley versus Acme, which, more on that later. But this movie actually did get to see the light of day.
It did, yeah. It did have a limited release in most areas. I think the advantage of us being in a place like LA is that we get longer releases of movies that wouldn't have a longer release otherwise. So thankfully, I was a little bit late to the party, as you know. You saw the movie before I did. But I am so grateful.
We don't see movies together, guys, by the way. We're just gonna...
We're not friends.
We're not friends. Let's just squash that right now.
Yeah.
All your headcanons are wrong.
Yeah, we're just in this for the business side. We do not like each other whatsoever. As soon as I was about to say the cameras turn off. Yeah. As soon as the audio recorders turn off, we just go harump, rump, bum, 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 walking in the opposite direction of each other.
All the time.
All the time.
Every day.
Every single day.
Like clockwork.
Yeah, it's a problem.
But anyway, so the new Looney Tunes movie.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Good transition, yeah.
The new Looney Tunes movie, of course, is understandable if you haven't heard of it, because this film hasn't gotten the advertising that other films get because of the small studio.
Yeah.
But just to bring everyone up to speed, there is in fact a new Looney Tunes movie out called The Day the Earth Blew Up. And it's about, without any spoilers, it's about Porky and Daffy basically trying to save their house that they own together, and so they're doing a bunch of odd jobs. And while they're doing that, they also have to stop an alien invasion. Believe me, those two plots together work much better than I'm explaining it right now.
It is actually very surprising, because I remember seeing the trailer, and the first teaser that they showcased was them dealing with their house in disarray.
Right.
And no, it all flows in a very naturalistic way. I mean, you definitely, it is a type of film that I think its first act is sort of dedicated to introducing and letting you know the vibe of the movie in a lot of ways, and then act 2 kind of focuses up plot wise. I had a bunch of fun, and I do think this is a film that the people who worked on this film all came from the Looney Tunes cartoons, which is the current modern run of Looney Tunes.
The new one's on Max.
Yeah, on Max right now. And so that team all worked together on this film. So like when you start the movie, you'll see like 10 writing credits, but it's important to note that this was, to my understanding, a board-driven movie, which is really fascinating.
You know, I wanted to know if it was board-driven, and it would make sense because, you know, a lot of the people who worked on this movie, of course, worked on those Max shorts, and those are all board-driven. And so having a board-driven movie is very interesting, and I mean, you can definitely tell with all the different gags that are in this film,
Totally.
all the slapstick, and even all just like the visual references and the visual cues.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of that's kind of there to make an old Looney Tunes fan like me swoon.
Yeah. So. And for those of you who don't know, because I'm sure there's some of you in our audience who don't know what we mean when we say board driven, but what that means is that they're, and typically you see this in the realm of TV.
Yes.
But for live action, everything that you see is script based. Everything is a script that's being written and then brought to air. And of course, there are exceptions to that rule if it's a sketch show or it's slightly improvised. You know, there are exceptions to that rule. But generally speaking, that's true for live action. Whereas for animation, the distinction is that you'll have a separation between storyboard-driven shows, which is what board-driven means, and script-based shows. So you can probably tell the difference in a lot of ways. Like I think for me, the biggest signifier that something's board driven versus something being script based is what are the kinds of jokes that are being made on screen. You know, I'm trying to think of a distinction. Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beast is a script based show, from my understanding, and so is Final Space. That's also a script based show,
Right.
Which makes a lot of sense because a good portion of the people working on that show, not all of them come from an animation background. And that's sort of the policy, I think, for a lot of Netflix's DreamWorks collaborations they were doing for a time. Where something like Cartoon Network is a good example of this. Most of their shows are board-driven. So
Yes.
Gumball's board-driven, regular shows board-driven, and then the Looney Tunes cartoons are also board-driven. And yeah, you'll see a lot of visual gags that kind of showcase and give reason for that.
Exactly. Yeah. When a board-driven show and a board-driven movie, there's a lot more physical comedy, a lot more slapstick humor.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot more visual gags.
And you'll see a lot of more expression oftentimes with that. You'll see changes in animation style with that. You'll see, you'll see a lot of different things that will tip you off. I promise you, start to watch shows in the realm of animation, and I'm sure you, dear audience member, can see the difference. But all that to say is that, yeah, this movie is a really good time. And I think for people in particular who grew up watching the Looney Tunes, I think this is going to be an easy sell for you. Just really imagine, because you have the team that worked on this being from the Looney Tunes cartoons, if you enjoy that run or you enjoy the classic Looney Tunes shorts, you're going to enjoy this movie. Just know that it's going to obviously have, you have character arcs, you have things that are happening and stuff, but in many ways, just expect a good time.
Right. And to me, if you're like a casual Looney Tunes fan, you know the characters and kind of the main kind of running gags of Looney Tunes, and you're interested in this movie. I do want to mention that this is a movie that is very much built around the old school Looney Tunes.
Totally.
Pre-Chuck Jones, very 30s and 40s Looney Tunes. And what that means is, for instance, back in those cartoons, you look at something like one of my favorites, You Ought to Be in Pictures, or you look at something like Porky's Duck Hunt, where Daffy and Porky are usually teamed together in those cartoons. And Daffy, as opposed to being kind of the selfish, more arrogant Daffy that we know today, the very Chuck Jones Daffy, the rabbit season, duck season Daffy, that one is not being used in this movie. This movie is basically using an older version of Daffy, the very wacky, silly, loony, Daffy,
Totally.
And I find that really interesting because that Daffy and those cartoons are some of my favorites. And there's a lot of love for those cartoons, for those early Fritz Frayling, Bob Clampett cartoons in this movie. In fact, one of the scenes that I think I love the most, simply for its visuals, is, there's a scene during the movie where they are trying to figure out what jobs they'd be good at. Yeah. And there's one scene in particular where you can really tell how much research and how much of an understanding they have of that early Looney Tunes material. The shot feels very old school Clampett, from the facial expressions to the background to the colors, even just down to the movement within the animation itself.
Totally.
I think there's a lot there that is such quality material, especially, from probably an underfunded team. And yet they still created something that I think is definitely something to write home about if you're a old school Looney Tunes fan. So I would keep that in mind as you're watching this.
I think that's a really important thing. We were talking about this before recording, but that was something that was really interesting to me because I grew up with the Chuck Jones Daffy. So that's what Daffy was to me for a very long time. Sort of the more petty, the more kind of narcissistic version of the character, where he's a bit more combative towards Bugs Bunny, for example, and a lot of the other people. That's a version of the character I really liked. And I mean, my favorite Looney Tunes short is Duck Amuck.
And Duck Amuck's great.
And Duck Amuck is, in many ways, I mean, according to IMDb, it's a lot of people's favorite.
I mean, it is, I would say, it's basically the quintessential Daffy Duck cartoon.
It really is. I think, certainly from that period.
Yeah, and I think that a cartoon like that, and Chuck Jones's Daffy, clearly exists today for a very good reason. That's a funny version of Daffy.
Totally. And like the Looney Tunes show does a really good job of like adapting that version of the character into the more sitcom-y, Seinfeld inspired version of the Looney Tunes characters.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly bring up the fact that Eric Bauza, who has slowly become the next Looney Tunes king in many ways. Someone who started with Marvin the Martian and has slowly worked his way up in playing more and more of the characters. Now he is the current voice in, I'm pretty sure, all pieces of media for Bugs Bunny, for Daffy Duck, Porky Pig as well. Yeah. It's really, really remarkable. And I believe he also plays Tweety Bird.
I think so. I think he also plays Tweety.
Yeah. The versatility of that dude's voice acting is something that is so commendable to me. I'm always trying to work on impressions and trying to work on kind of my range as a voice actor, and also see kind of where are the limitations and where are the things I can kind of push. And Eric Bauza, when you start to recognize certain voice actors and how their voice sounds, like you can still feel and hear certain parts of Eric Bauza in the performances.
You can still hear him.
But he does such a good job, and this movie is such a is such a reminder of this, that Porky and Daffy feel so distinct from each other. And I know that Eric, initially when he was asked to play Porky, there was some hesitation, actually.
Was there?
Yeah, because he had mentioned in an interview, Porky is more of a strain on the vocal cords than something like Daffy Duck.
Really?
Which I found to be really, really fascinating. Yeah. And I'd be curious to hear him expound upon that information. But yeah, I just think that that's really fascinating. Also, even though Eric Bauza really is the star and the main piece de resistance of this movie, there are a lot of other voice actors, very legendary voice actors who are featured in this movie. Candy Milo, who has played a multitude of different parts for years and years, a legend in her own right. I first came across her work during Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. She plays Madame Foster, Coco, and I'm sure a multitude of other imaginary friends in that show. She plays Petunia Pig, who is really the third main character of this feature. And she does incredible work. Like, all the voice actors are doing amazing, amazing work. Peter MacNicol plays the invader, the alien of the movie. Amazing work. I was spending so much time in this movie knowing his voice and trying to pinpoint, where have I heard that voice before? He plays the Mad Hatter in the Arkham games.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he's so good at that part, and he's so crazy, which is why he's really good for a Looney Tunes movie.
It's why it works. It's why it works.
Yeah, it's why it works.
I mean, honestly, a movie like this, where you have the right voice actors, and you have the right artists coming in to do the storyboards and do the character designs and the background art, and basically all the stars align to essentially make this almost near perfect Looney Tunes product. And of course, having Ketchup Entertainment to come by and actually, distribute the film.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's huge, and it's something that doesn't really happen too often. And it's the main reason. Honestly, it's the main reason why I would heavily advise checking this film out while it's still in theaters. Because movies like this, real, true passion projects, like The Day the Earth Blew Up, I don't think it's the craziest film out there. I don't think it's the most cinematic film out there.
Right.
But it's definitely a film that has so much passion and love put into it that I do think it deserves its flowers, and I think it deserves its audience. And I mean, hey, Ketchup Entertainment has been doing a lot of great stuff. We were just talking about
Coyote versus Acme.
Yeah, we were just talking about Coyote versus Acme. Warner Brothers had shelved that for
ever. I mean, that was a tax write-off. I mean, that was one of, I'm not sure how many movies it was now, but it's like 5 to 10 different movies were shelved for taxes. I know Batgirl was one of those films as well. And there was the Scooby-Doo movie that was also added to that list. But yeah, I mean, it really is a miracle. I mean, Ketchup, this movie, it's really important to say is that this movie was probably on the way to being shelved as well.
It probably was.
Fully was. And Ketchup saw the merit of the movie, saw the need to release it, and they released it. And here's the thing. I mean, the movie was, what's more impressive to me, and this is happening more so now, I think, but we talked about this last episode with Flo. I mean, Flo was made for $3.6 million. That is a small budget.
Yes.
When you really think about it. This movie was made for $15 million. I mean, that's not crazy. When you think about the average animated film being anywhere between, on the low end, like 70 million.
And 2D animation especially is usually double that.
Oh yeah. Well, and obviously the US has become more of a 3D animation based market. So I mean, that's the other thing. The fact that a 2D film got a release in theaters, I don't know. There are just a lot of things that are really exciting about it. I do think it is unfair to this film, though, that people online have treated it as this is the movie to save 2D animation. Right. Again, the movie is really good, but I think there's too much pressure on it.
I mean, it's a Looney Tunes movie. My thing is, it's a Looney Tunes movie. And depending on who you are, depending on the type of person, when you watch these classic shorts, I think you know what you're getting. I think you know what to expect.
Totally.
And I think you know not to expect any type of heavy emotion.
Yeah.
Or real cinematic flair.
Sure.
but I still think you're going to get a funny movie.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are gags. I was telling you this afterwards, and not every gag works for me, but I think the ones that do really work for me.
Right.
One of my favorites is very early on in the movie. There's a character named Father Jim who... Just let me put it this way, because I want you all who haven't seen this movie to experience this the way I did. They do some really funny stuff with the animation for this character that just had me rolling. It's so good. I mean, they do some stuff with like using both the medium animation and also the limitations of animation to just make this character one of the funniest characters in the entire film. It's so good. And so that's the thing I think you should expect, is that this is a film that really understands the medium that it exists within. Mm-hmm. It does some incredible work with that. And yeah, if you get a chance to check it out in theaters, great. I know it had a limited release for other parts of the country, so it might not still be available. But when it comes out on digital, and certainly with physical release, I cannot recommend enough. Please support this film.
Get physical media. I mean, after all, I don't know, hypothetical, wipe out the entirety of the Looney Tunes on Max with no warning, and it could all just be gone. So always support physical media, and if this one goes onto physical media, highly encourage picking it up. It's a fun time.
Totally. I mean, when we watch the Looney Tunes, we're going to have to get the physical DVD copies.
We sure will.
We sure will. If you know, you know. Well, with the time that we do have left, I do want to talk about a couple of our favorite shorts. I know that we touched on it a little bit, but as mentioned, Duck Amuck, that's probably my favorite short of all time. And this film, as I said before, is a very different version of Daffy, for sure. Duck Amuck, man, I really do recommend this short if you haven't seen it. Chuck Jones, to me, when I think of the Looney Tunes, and frankly Tom and Jerry as well, I mean, Chuck Jones is the first person that comes to mind. He was so influential in who these characters are and what we know them as. So Duck Amuck really does the kind of wall breaking sort of style in a way that doesn't feel annoying. Mm-hmm. It really uses that kind of Daffy talking to the camera very effectively and has a great twist at the end. So highly recommend that. That's my probably my favorite short.
Oh, well, my favorite shorts. Well, as a certified Looney Tunes snob, I would say my favorite shorts, of course, pre-Chuck Jones, very 1930s, 1940s, and for a Daffy that is a little bit more in tune with the one in the movie, I have to go with Bob Clampett's penultimate short that he made for the studio, the Great Piggy Bank
Robbery.
Yeah, there you go. The Great Piggy Bank Robbery.
I know some things.
You do. You do. I call him a Looney Tunes pleb before the recording. He got very upset. He said I
cried.
He cried.
Well, I'm going to say I cried a lot. I'm crying now, and you just can't tell.
Yeah, I had to calm him down before the recording.
Yeah. I'm insecure that way. Anyways, what do you like about this?
So something I really like about this short, I like a lot of the expression work, and I like a lot of the comedy in general. And I think what's funny is a lot of the comedy, especially from Bob Clampett, does come from that expression work, and it does come from the slapstick that he's able to do in the movement of these characters.
Yep.
Basically the whole cartoon is about Daffy Duck pretending like he's this detective named Duck Tracy, a humorous reference to Dick Tracy.
Yeah, you see how he did a W instead of an R?
I know.
Pretty funny.
That's pretty hilarious.
Tracy.
These are the jokes you can expect from the day the Earth blew up.
You're despicable!
But yeah, he's trying to solve this crime. It's this very silly, very loony crime of somebody's been stealing like piggy banks or money out of piggy banks. And it's a really fun time, and it's really cool to of all the art on display and all the character nonsense they get up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Wanted to mention a couple more for myself as well. Sheep in the Deep, very simply, is just a good time.
Yeah.
I told you this before, but Cheap in the Deep to me, which is also directed by Chuck Jones and Maurice Noble, it's a co-directing credit, is just a fun time because it has Sam the Sheepdog and Ralph the Wolf, which, important to say, no, is not Wile E. Coyote, even though it is the exact same character design with a red nose. We all know it's true.
I think anyone was arguing.
Yeah, fair enough. That's what gets me impassioned, is things that people aren't even that upset about.
I know that's just Wile E. Coyote's design. You can't tell me it isn't. And Chuck Jones is like, I mean, yeah.
He's like, it goes to Chuck Jones, is like, yeah, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wolf and a coyote.
Yeah.
They look very similar.
They look very similar. But all that to say is that, yeah, the opening and ending bit to me is what really lingers for that, where it's like they're fighting the entire time and trying to destroy each other, but they clock in and he's like, hey, Sam. Hey, Ralph. they clock in with their little ticket, and then they start going, and then the short ends with them, like, clocking out. I love that. I love that they fight each other, but there's like a work environment piece to it. It's so funny. And then, of course, finally, for me, Bugs Bunny Rides Again, which is directed by Fritz Frayling. So you're welcome. I'm not just a Chuck Jones fanboy. Really, really good short when it comes to representing both Yosemite Sam and Bugs Bunny. There's some really fun bits, I think, always, of the line bit, all right, don't cross here, don't cross here, don't cross here, don't cross here. and doesn't he like falls off of one of the canyons after that. Great. It's just really great visual humor. And then there's that one funny moment where Yosemite Sam is dancing. There's something about that guy with his stubby little legs when he starts dancing that's just really funny. But yeah, how about you?
Honestly, what I think is funnier than those cartoons?
Funny.
The cartoons that I'm going to mention because they're my cartoons.
Oh, brother. Yeah, what are your favorite cartoons?
So, of course, I mentioned The Great Piggy Bank Robbery.
Yep.
And then I also, I mentioned earlier, You Ought to Be in Pictures. And this is a very unique cartoon because, again, this one stars Porky and Daffy Duck. And it's, in a way, it's another very meta cartoon. It's them working at the Warner Brothers studio and Porky feeling like his career is being tied up with just cartoons and that he wants to get into animated features. And so he quits and he tries to make it on his own. Meanwhile, Daffy is trying to take his top billing spot over at the Warner Brothers studio. And it's a really creative idea for a cartoon because the entirety of it is basically live action with only the two characters being animated.
Yeah.
But you can tell there's like a lot of post work being done because all the live action actors, that's not Leon Schlesinger in the film.
Is it Mel Blanc?
They're all played by Mel Blanc.
I love that dude. That's so funny.
And so it basically means like everyone kind of sounds like very Mel Blanc-ish. Like they all have the Mel Blanc yell.
Oh, I love the I am a rabbit.
Turn out those lights.
Turn out those lights. Ah! My neighbors are gonna hate me.
Oh, let's make them hate you more. That's me. I just stomped on the floor to make sure they get mad.
Oh,
this
is crazy.
Anyways, so yeah, there's that one. And I think that one's a very fun cartoon. And the last one that doesn't really have to do anything with anything is Little Red Riding Rabbit. Mm-hmm. And the reason I love that one is purely because of its comedy. Mm-hmm. Purely. I think it's one of, if not the funniest Looney Tunes cartoon that I've ever seen. And so if you know me and you know my type of comedy, take that as you will, and I'll leave it there.
And if you don't know Cap and you don't know his type of comedy, well, you know now.
That's true. Check out that cartoon and you will know my favorite type of comedy.
Well, unfortunately, Cap, it does seem that we're, gosh golly, out of time.
Oh, well, gosh darn it.
Oh, rats on a stick! I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Thank you again for listening to...
Well, golly, if that's just not a bullet in the foot... So anyways, thanks for joining the Toon Dudes today.
Thank you for joining this episode of Toon Dudes. This is our second episode. We look forward to making more. Sorry that this one had more yelling than the last one, but hey, it's Looney Tunes. What can you expect?
So I highly suggest don't fall asleep to this one. It's not
should have given them a forewarning before the episode, dude.
Honestly, you know what? We'll put that like in the description. Hey, by the way, lots of yelling, not ASMR.
Yeah. It's par for the course, right? Well, yeah. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Toon Dudes, and we will see you on the next one. As always, stay tuned. This episode is brought to you by I to Infinity.
I to Infinity multimedia production.
I think Stay Tuned is good.
Well, agree to disagree.
What are we doing here?
You know.
What is this?
What is this? Why are you like this today, huh?
You want to keep being adversarial? You want to keep this little shtick going? Maybe it's not funny. You think about that?
Well, maybe I wouldn't be that like this if you would just let me start the episode next time.
And we'll see you next time. We're gonna be in conflict. We'll see you next time. Our character arc is frustration. You see you next time.
Our comedy comes from the fact that we hate each other. It's gonna get very uncomfortable.
My roommate's not gonna be happy.